Hey, welcome to the Runaways podcast. My name is Cody. We are back for another week, and we have a full group. We have 4 people. I don't remember the last time we've had 4 people. I don't remember the last time we had specifically these 4 people on a podcast. And it's obviously because nothing major has happened over the week that we have to discuss or talk about. It's definitely not the reason why everyone on the podcast wanted to come on. If you have not heard, the Team Runaways is ended. The brand Runaways has also ended. They have disbanded. Not that we've all quit the game or anything, but the team is no longer functioning, and then we have ended basically all of the content and branding that Runaways had just done previously. We actually shut down the LLC, so the business is also done as well. So, first of all, how do you guys feel about that? You're all here. Obviously, want to talk about it a little bit, so we can talk a little bit about the end of Runaways. Don't all jump in at once.
I don't know where to start, man.
Everyone's sad.
Y'all two go first. You're more owners than me.
I don't know. The short of it is I feel sad and relieved and tired and very busy still. I'll elaborate later.
Sure.
Dan's very articulate. I think
That's the issue.
He hit
There's
all
too
the
much
points.
to say, man.
He hit all the points. No, but like I mean that truthfully as well, because you hit all the points that I would hit. Like I'm sad. I am relieved. Everything you said, honestly. Like I love the group. But I am also, excited to move forward with whatever the future has in Flesh and Blood for me.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows the story actually of how I joined the Runaways in the first place. Maybe if you watch back 50 episodes more to the first few that I was on, maybe I talked about it then. But if you are newer to watching or just forgot from back then, I knew Fino and James from my area were on the team, and I was pretty new to playing FAB in general. And I feel like when you want to get good at a card game, your first instinct is to find people who are better players and try to work with them, learn from them in order to improve yourself. So yeah, I had the opportunity to join Runaways, and I remember my first ever message was to Yuanji on Facebook Messenger saying, Fino says you smell. And apparently that was enough to get me to join the team. And yeah, it's been good. Had the opportunity to do the podcast and stuff. So grateful to my time being here.
Also.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, and I remember when Fino presented the idea of adding me, I was like, yeah, that guy beat me twice with Ice Slider. Let's get him.
Yeah, I had no idea who you were.
No one beats me
But
twice.
I was very happy.
Only one thing.
But I was very happy that you joined, because I think we roomed at almost a ton of events together, which was a good time. It was great. But with that, that's it. This is the last Runaways podcast. There will be no more Runaways podcast after that. So I think we can just end it here. So goodbye, everybody. No more Runaways podcasts ever again. Hey, welcome to the Untitled Podcast. We are back and here for the first time simultaneously. It looks like we have all the same members of the Runaways podcast on. And we're also on the same channel as the Runaways podcast used to be on. And we're on the same schedule as the Runaways podcast used to be on. And we'll be posted in the same Discord that the Runaways podcast will be on. But we are not the Runaways podcast. That has ended. We are now currently the Untitled Podcast. But just so everyone is aware, we are keeping the same lineup, the same people. We're still doing the podcast every single week. None of the people who are currently in the podcast have quit the game. We are all still playing the game at a competitive level. We plan on going to all the same events that we were going to previously, maybe more, maybe actually playing the game more at the end of this for some of us. But you will still have the podcast every week on this channel with the same people in the Discord, but we don't have a name. We have no name. Right now it's Untitled. It's the first episode and the 120th episode at the same time. But we need a name. So if you could, into the comment section below, give us some names for the podcast. As soon as we get a good name, we will change the channel to reflect that name. And we'll also change the Discord to reflect that name. Or an
acceptable name, which is more likely than a good name.
No. We'll find a good name this time. Hopefully we'll find a good name where we don't have a bunch of...
The last name was pretty accurate.
I don't know if we could just get people to stop coming in the Discord thinking that it's for kids that are trying to run away. That would,
Yes.
that would be, woo, that would be
It's
nice.
so bad, man. I don't know how the game is still the same. How it took this long.
Okay, so more seriously, how was your week? How's it been? Dan, we have you back. I know you had a great week outside of just, all of the drama or not drama that has happened with the team ending. But you've actually had a week playing Flesh and Blood. So I wanted to go to you first. How's your week been?
Yeah, I mean, the outside of Flesh and Blood first, the week was traumatic and stressful and nerve-wracking and tough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk a bit more on that later, but as a new parent, I'm in a constant state of rushing and jumping around from thing to thing with no time to think or time in between. So having another huge thing like that to act on was tricky. But inside of Flesh and Blood, I was very lucky and got to take a break from dad duty on Saturday. Made it down to local game store, played a Sage skirmish, best format in the game, and I played the best hero in the game, which is FAB in that format. I had a good time. Games were a lot of fun. I get I don't know. I somewhat get the hate for the format at competitive level because the amount of decisions you get to make are pretty limited. But I think everyone kind of calls it out. Mistakes are super punished, so you're rewarded for not making those. And I don't know, as a long time buy enjoyer, the first half of the deck is fake anyway. The game starts when you get them low, and you're just jockeying for that position of, okay, I need to be able to keep all 5 of my cards, and then I start taking their cards, and then they can never come back because my 3-card hand takes all of their cards every turn. So I like jump starting to the end game where you're just in that state of you get 1 turn to mess around and take some damage, and then after that you gotta take their cards. So had fun with that. I have no time, as I keep saying. So I picked up the deck I had the last time I played Flesh and Blood, which was I don't know, a few months ago now, whenever ProQuest Sage season was. But I saw I think it was Ben Dodd. Shout out to him. He was playing the Kunai Bloodied Oval tech. And I was like, that's what I was looking for. Because the issue you have in the format is that the other aggro decks have a little more armor than you. So the way you can get an edge is by not swinging your weapon to deny their Blade Beckoner value for the heroes that play that. It's kind of the only way you can get an edge into decks like KO. So I had in my head, at some point I need to work on a red line list so that I can get this edge. And then he kind of put one out there. So I played I don't know, 4 games of that, and I was like, I can mix this with my list. I wanted to play hybrid. So I put together a Bloodied Oval Emberblade hybrid list because the Emberblade is still really good against the slow Guardians and also the Wizards because you need your blue color cards. And that went well. I won the skirmish. I lost a Swiss game against Valda. Valda's really tough for FAB because unlike KO, she does not have to play Blade Beckoner, and she's got 3x your armor or something ridiculous like that. So if she draws the good cards, you just die. But I got him back in the finals and went home with the cool playmat and the shiny Bolton. So I was just happy I got to play Flesh and Blood. I didn't really care about the result. I was just vibing with my Phoenix Flame.
Yeah, any chance to play Fi in a semi-reasonable context, I know you'll take it. But
yeah, honestly. Only in Sage, though. Forget CC. I'm not touching that deck.
That's why I said semi-reasonable.
Yeah. I think 5's reasonable in CC. It's just not while Mario's here. Come on.
True. And Noah, how's your week been?
I also got to play a skirmish on the weekend. I signed up for the skirmish at 2 a.m. the night before. I was really not going to go because I was like, it's skirmish. I don't really care too much about these prizing or to play Sage. But then I remembered that at my local store, it's extremely lit and entry was free. So I was like, okay, am I really not going to drive 15 minutes to go play in a free entry tournament where I get gem packs, some other packs, and just a general good time, support the store, buy other stuff while I'm there. And so I went there. They also did the raffling off of the second Bolton. I didn't realize this was a mechanic where the winner gets one and then also one is randomly raffled off. So in round 2 or something, they raffled it off and I won the door prize Bolton. So therefore there was no way I was going to win the tournament because I'd already cashed in my luck. Um, yeah, I played Ira. It was very basic. I won when I was supposed to win and lost when I was not going to win the game. So it's not really any interesting stories. The one interesting story that was cool is that the tournament started at 11 and I lost in top 4 and that was at like 3:15. So I was still able to go to the gym before it closed before because it closed at like 5. So that was pretty cool to be able to play a 7-round tournament and then still have like most of the day to do stuff. I understand why you like the format, Dan.
Oh yeah, that's the best.
I mean, we've said that. It like the format is fantastic for everything that's not playing the game.
I think
Yeah.
it's great for playing the game.
Playing the game might get better, hopefully, but everything else around it is phenomenal. Like watching it is great. The amount of time that it takes is great.
I love playing games when I get to play like 8 of them in a row.
Mhm.
Like then it's so
Yeah, like
much
each
fun to
round you
play.
play 3 to 4 games while everyone else is finishing. It's so nice. That's another selling point for 5. Super quick.
Lucas, how was your week? Did you play in a skirmish and not tell anyone?
My skirmish was in the mind and
Ah.
in the homework. That was where my battles were being fought. But yeah, no, that's honestly my whole week was spent on obviously the team stuff, and then I had a bunch of deadlines that I had to meet for homework. So I probably had the most boring week out of anyone. I didn't do anything. But hopefully around this time next week, I will be free of my shackles of having to do shit. So I'll be able
Is that when you
to-
graduate?
Yeah, I graduate. Well, I'm
Or like
next
finish the coursework?
yeah. So next Monday, the 11th, is the last day where I'm done with coursework.
Oh, that's
Like,
so
I'm
hyped,
done
dude.
after that.
That's the
So,
best feeling.
So I'm very excited for that. And then the timing.
I feel
right
like you
after that-
started college on the podcast, and
I
you're
did.
going to end college on the podcast.
I did. Yeah, I was.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, we've been going for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Almost. So something like that. I guess yeah, a little over 2 years. And yep. And then right after I graduate, I have Omens dropping, and then Nats, and then Vegas. So it's gonna be an exciting summer, hopefully. Maybe it'll be a very boring summer if I don't do well at any tournaments, but I'll at least have a bunch of time to prep.
True. I did not play any Flesh and Blood this week. I played a bunch of Riftbound this week because I'm in the Riftbound grind. Luckily enough, since Omens doesn't come out for 3 weeks before Nationals, there's not a lot I could do to prep. So I am getting all of my Riftbound prep done ahead of time because after US Nats, I do have like Hartford is like a regional. It's like right like the week after. So I'm doing all my prep for that now so that I'm just ready to go. Till
There's
after
one
that.
in Hartford?
Yes, there's one
Oh,
in
no.
Hartford.
I should have signed up.
Yeah, it's sold out by now.
That's just the drive. Tragic.
Very tragic. And then the next one after that's in LA.
Mhm.
That I'll be going to as well.
Let me know
So
the next
that-
time it's in the tri-state.
I will let you know. And then you have to get up early and then
Yeah, I'll join the
or
queue.
be like looking in the queue.
Dude, I wake up at 6 these days. Is it
You're not
before
allowed.
6?
You're not allowed. You don't just qualify for these events. You have to get in line and then hopefully buy a ticket at the right time to get in.
Yeah.
The real skill. It's like very skillful. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the end of the Runaways. I know everyone wants like juicy drama stuff. Unfortunately, there's not that much juicy drama stuff. The real answer is trying to run like a business, a Discord, like content streams and channels, and then like a very large team, and then also try and be good at the game is just too many things.
They all conflict
we did
too.
it. Yeah, we did it for
They
like
synergize, but they conflict too.
we did it for like 2 years. Or we tried to do it for like 2 years. But like a couple things happened. One, there isn't really any money in the content side of this game. Unlike, like other card games and stuff. Yeah, if you're like one person or maybe 2 people and you're putting out like infinite guides and you're also like really good, then on the content side, you can maybe make some money. But it's nothing close to like what other card games can do. Maybe someday that changes, but right now there's just not really the base for that. So
It's also not
it's
what
like
we care about like at all.
Correct.
It's
Also,
kind of a justification.
it's like it's supposed to be like a nice thing to like help, maybe pay for the hobby, but it doesn't end up doing that. It just ends up eating up a bunch of time. for not as much to come back. And then also, we're playing Flesh and Blood. Like, we want to win the tournaments. Like, that's why we play Flesh and Blood. Like, everyone almost, like, that is the issue and the great thing about playing Flesh and Blood is the people who want to win tournaments, they play this game. And, like, the issue is we don't have enough people who are playing casually. But that is the name of Flesh and Blood. So trying to, like, do content and then, like, do guides and then on that whole side while also trying to be competitive is pretty hard. And then on top of that, when you have a team as large as the Runaways did, just managing that aspect of the team is very difficult, and trying to make sure that it's actually a good place to be and actually making everyone better can be difficult. And for the people who, like, in the leadership role who have been doing it, which is like Dan, Lucas, myself, Yuanji,
Shane for a while.
Shane for a while, just after a while, it's just like, I don't really want to be responsible for all this anymore. I just want to play the card game, get good, and have fun. Like, that's it. I just want, I think, honestly, the change, while it is sad that, you know, all those years of work, a very recognizable brand, and then, like, a whole group of friends who have been traveling the world together has basically broken apart at this point. And that part is the sad part about it. The nice thing about it, at least for me personally, is that I can now focus more on just playing the game. And some of this was born out of the fact that I'm on a Riftbound team in which I am not a leadership role. I am just a player on the team, and it's kind of nice to just play the game. And so I was, you know, kind of looking to do that again. It's just every time I go to a tournament, I usually do pretty well, but I'm always a little short. That has been a very constant thing for me personally. And I feel like if I strip away all of these other responsibilities and I could focus more on the game and I have more energy wanting to put towards the game, maybe I could find that extra 5-7% that I'm missing that is really causing me from, you know, going from topping all of these events, these tier 4 events, at least. That's how I feel personally. I would be curious for some of the people on the podcast, maybe talk about how they feel, or if this is completely on base or off base. Because I know Noah has an interesting side of this, right? You were not in a leadership position.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know he was doing it either.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like the kid in class who didn't have his hand up but still got
Yeah.
called on.
Yeah.
What I mean is, you are not in the leadership side. This happened more to you than maybe a choice that you 100% made. And then, you know, post this, like, what are your plans? What are you going to be doing? Because you're still doing the podcast, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
This is the one thing we all love doing, is doing the podcast every week. So
That's
we're
right.
you know, continue to do this, you know, irregardless of what happens.
Yeah. So my plan now is to. What's up, man? What are you laughing?
I said irregardless, and
No,
he
he said
hates it.
Oh, he hates it regardless. Okay.
He
okay.
hates irregardless.
Sometimes you put an
That's
extra
why-
syllable on.
That's why I
it's
said
fine.
it, and then I immediately looked at him like,
I just laughed.
Okay. Yeah. As of right now, joining Team Sigil. I was hanging out with those guys a decent amount in Japan, so that's like my plan moving forward, is to test with them for upcoming cycles, see how it goes. I'm gonna think of it more as, like, I was talking with Michael Fang about this actually. I was seeking guidance from many people actually as to what my future should hold.
Wait, please,
And if you
please
know-
share. I'm so lost.
Oh, of what you should do.
Yeah, my situation's a little different though.
Okay. Well, because as I tell the story, you're going to understand that I have absolutely no idea what I should do.
Excellent.
Basically, I try to take advice from many other people, but you know, like when you flip a coin and you determine before flipping the coin that, like, heads is going to be one outcome, tails is going to be another outcome, and then as the coin is spiraling in the air, you realize what you want it to be. I thought that this strategy would work, but it just was not working for me. I tried making a bunch of these, like, 50-50s of, like, I'll do this or I'll do that, and then I was just, like, unsatisfied with the conclusion no matter what. I didn't know whether I wanted to try to be like the Giga tryhard and go to literally every single tournament, have FAB be my life for the next couple months, and, like, yeah, basically just no life the game, or if I wanted to try to join a team where it's more of still serious about the game, but like, focus on the team aspect of it. Because I feel like as the Runaways disbanded, this was like maybe it wasn't as apparent to outside observers, but there started to be, like, drifts and separations with everyone's focus level on the team. So I think I enjoyed the initial join of Runaways where it felt like everybody was really on the same page. So I think joining Team Sigil kind of gives me that similar vibe where everybody on the team is friendly and also still wants to grind and really work to top these tier 4 plus tournaments. So this is my plans for now. But yeah, going back to what I was saying when I was talking with Michael, he was watching the Magic Pro Tour from this past weekend, and there was a comment in there, like a YouTube comment or something that he said stuck out to him, which was that as an outside observer to card games, the concept of teams makes absolutely no sense because like you're playing an individual game. At the end of the day, like sure you have a team and you can want other people to win, but you have to go out there and actually win yourself. And it makes much more sense for, I think you were saying this earlier, Dan, that like you, it's much better to have people that you want to test with for the purpose of a specific tournament. Like having a team exist in perpetuity, I think is like a really difficult thing to achieve. And it's definitely possible for some people to do, but I think it's, card games themselves just kind of lend themselves to, I'm going to team up with these people for this tournament as like a study group kind of thing, either because I think they have the skills for this exact event, or maybe I'm just staying with them and it's like a simple thing to do.
You're playing like the same deck.
This is kind of
for
my
that
thoughts
tournament.
on what's up.
Yeah, or you're playing the same deck as a certain group of people.
Yeah,
that's
exactly, yeah.
different than the people you might normally test with, or something like that.
Yeah, you really think that Prism has an edge? So like, I'm going to seek out all the Prism pros, and this is going to be like the Prism gang that we're gonna take the tournament by storm. So there's just some of my thoughts on like teams in general and my direction moving forward.
Yeah, the whole concept, like you were getting at there, is really interesting because it's all like make believe. Like the Runaway started because Yuanji, Shane, and I said we're the Runaways, we're a team. Surprise. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the time to try and like figure out the optimal way for teams or not teams to operate, but I wish there was a way to just like everyone could kind of float, and I don't know. Like it's strategically more beneficial. I don't know how to say this. The people you test with that are the most strategically beneficial probably does change tournament to tournament. And the team concept just gives you kind of a home base where, I mean, there's lots of good like social aspects where like you got each other's backs, you're all trying to help each other win. That stuff's awesome. And I do love the team environment, but from strictly a like winning perspective, it is kind of interesting how like your best angle is probably not to stay with just one group for too long. I don't know if that makes any sense. I have trouble articulating these things.
I don't know, guys. The current most winningest group is a team of players who win every single event. So you could say all these, but like
True.
Like PCG's like crushing it. So at every tier 4, whatever they're doing works. What should you do? Whatever
Yeah, do what
they're
they're
doing.
doing.
I mean, Hamilton hasn't won many tournaments recently, as far as I remember, but he's like top 8 at every single tournament as well. And he kind of is like this nomad strategy where he.
Yeah, but that's like an anomaly. You're like picking the anomaly
No,
player.
just be like Michael Hamilton. How hard can that
I mean,
be?
we would all love to be like Michael Hamilton.
Well, you can say it's an anomaly, but I would also say that the way that he tests is a large part of his success. Like the way that he prepares for tournaments, and the way that I would say a lot of it depends on, or is due to the fact that he goes to so many tournaments, so he has like tournament experience back to back. But like I would say for him, like he's not one of the players who like does well at tournaments, and I'm like, your deck was terrible and you weren't prepared well, but you're just a good player, so you did well. Like when I see Michael Hamilton at a tournament, I'm like, I know he brought a deck that he believes in.
Was it like
Sometimes to
was
varying
it
degrees.
new at Worlds? Like I practiced for a week and a half and brought the deck. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain that he was playing a different card game at the time, and then he played the new deck at Worlds and ended up topping with it because he's just a great player.
Yeah, he's won like every Alpha Clash event that's occurred.
Yeah.
He has
Why
one.
not?
So
No,
like
but I'm just
my
saying, like,
issue is this: PCG has won with different people. It's different people on their team continually topping and winning. Whatever they're doing is correct. Like it's not one person just like doing great. It's their like a bunch of people on their team continually topping and winning tier 4s. So it seems funny to me to be like, no team. I'm like, except for if you're them and you've cracked the code that you can push different members continually into top 8s of tier 4s, then like whatever they're doing must be it.
I'm not saying no team. I'm just saying the concept is interesting.
Yeah.
As someone
I'm
who's-
also not saying no team because like I joined a team, so clearly I think that there is some merit
Yeah.
to being on a team. But what I'm saying is that like I think in some theoretical world, it is best to because okay, maybe the universe we live in right now is just that the people on PCG are the correct people to be testing with for every single tournament. That's why they're winning. But there is a world where like that population of people can change, and it's not just PCG members.
Sure.
Yeah, like we can say that the people on PCG are who've been winning every tournament, but like they've been winning every tournament since before they were on PCG, and that's why they're on PCG. Not all of them winning every tournament, but my point is like they were all known people. Like it's not like
Isn't all of their best success from them being on PCG?
I mean, recency bias says that because they've been winning every tournament for the last 2 years.
Come on, keep firing examples that are wrong
No,
to
no,
me.
no,
Just
no.
keep,
I'm
I'll
just-
just keep
I'm
shutting
just-
them down.
No,
Let's
no,
go.
My point is just that like they're clearly all good players, right? Like
Yeah,
kind of
and
like
yeah,
what I was
like-
saying. Like
I think they invested in all their stocks when they were on the upswing. You know, like all the
Yeah.
people joined the team on their trajectory upward.
which is something that team is definitely doing right. Is definitely
Yeah.
recruiting good members.
Agreed. I don't know what else they're doing. I'm not in there. But
True.
their testing seems to work well. I mean, a team is just more brains to be able to try and solve a problem. Is really what the most of the goal of a team in a card game is.
Oh yeah.
It's usually typically pretty hard to solve a meta or figure out a winning strategy on everything by yourself or with like one other person. It is possible. It has happened. There are examples of that. If you're already a really good player, the burden can become less. If the meta is more solved, the burden becomes less. Anytime you're doing like new meta stuff or new draft stuff, etc., obviously the burden becomes higher. The more people who you have who are on the same page and same skill level or, relative same skill level who can output some type of knowledge or benefit to speed you up or point you into the right direction is all beneficial. It's just making sure that happens consistently is the hard part, right?
Yep.
Also,
Can I go
there
back
is.
to oh, you go ahead.
I just want to say, also there might be like the bigger the team, the less work you have to put in. Sort of, like that feeling of that other people will do this or whatever. I think there's some value in having a smaller team, and it's like, no, dude, like if you don't put in work, then like you're not gonna have any outcome because like there isn't enough people. We need everyone doing the thing, right?
One thing that
I think
could
there's
also happen,
some value in that.
One thing that
Someday
can also
Dale will be
happen-
able to talk.
It's not today.
No, it's cool. I want to go back to the original topic though. Should keep going on this one first.
Yeah, go ahead, Lucas. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say something that people who maybe have not been on a team also may be unaware of is the being on a team can come with temptations. Like that feeling of like you don't have to do the work.
What?
Hold on, damn.
I don't know what you're talking about. But
Let me finish.
The untold stories of the team house.
apparently,
No. I mean, like, kind of what Cody's talking about, where like you feel comfortable that other people are gonna invest in other decks and like other people are gonna do some work. Sometimes it can also mean that you just blindly believe other people's work and you shift off of maybe like you don't do the smart thing of just practicing one deck and getting really good at it. There are situations as well where it can backfire and you can be tempted to believe that something is good and maybe it's not as good as you think it was, or it's not as good as that person thought it was, or you just don't have enough time to prep it.
I mean, some of the best work I've done recently was Worlds when Dan, you and I just worked on Zen for 2 days straight, just like in the team house, nothing but
It's a
Zen.
good 2 days of work.
It was a good 2 days of work.
That's true.
There was only 2 of us basically doing it. I mean, a couple people to help us test, but really just you and me hammering it out for all day long. But then on the flip side, we had KO, where it was like a whole group was working on that, and we got a bunch of feedback that way, and that was still beneficial. So, I think you can do it both ways. And Dan, you can talk. You can bring it back.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I want to go back to you kind of said your piece on why the team ended, some of that stuff. I wanted to attempt to articulate my perspective on it. we'll see how it goes. I didn't prepare a statement, and I realize now that I probably should have. Um, yeah, I was mostly aligned with what you were saying, Cody. I mean, I think if you asked everyone on the team why the team broke apart, they would all answer differently. There'd be overlap, but I think everyone would have a different perspective on it. I think my perspective's a little unique, as I was kind of there from when the team started. I think I've told the story before, but it was right after PT Low. Shane had given me his FI list like 2 weeks before the event. This was right after Shane hit LL, so I didn't have like a deck to play, and I did pretty well. I was like top 20 or something. I was 1 win out of top 8. So I was like, yeah, I want to take this game seriously. So at the airport, I messaged Yuanji, I messaged Shane. I was like, what team do we join? Is there anything good out there? Should we start our own team? And then we kind of just started working on it, and it grew slowly. And yeah, the team just kind of grew into this bigger thing kind of organically. Because right after that, right, like you had Brody and I. Brody was a founding member of the team. You had both of us top 8 US Nats, and then I top 8 at Worlds right after. So we said we should put a video up. I don't know why we recorded the first 5 videos. I can't remember that. Yuanji probably knows, but we did, and they were like very popular, very well received. We're like, oh, I guess we should keep doing this. And then I don't know how we ended up here, where we're like running a company and trying to create a pipeline where we make our players super good so they win events so that they can sell guides to help pay for their travel. I don't know. I don't know how it got to where it was, but it kind of just all happened organically over time. And I think the reason we were able to is because, I mean, one, the leadership was like super motivated, but we also had a lot of free time. Like the team started during what was like right after COVID, so like the whole world was working from home still. We had a lot less like life responsibilities, that kind of thing. So like Cody was saying, we kind of ended up with this like, I don't think we took on more than we could handle, but we took on more than, I don't know. I don't know how to say this. At the time that we set the path to grow to what we've grown into, we had the capacity for it and the motivation. And where we kind of ended here is no longer having that capacity mostly, which kind of led to the lack of motivation, because we knew like couldn't fully build out what we were dreaming of, I guess. And that's kind of separate from the team. The team's kind of goes together too. I don't know. I'm not articulating that part well. But why I wanted to highlight the time, because from my perspective, even if I like wanted the team and the company to keep going, like I cannot personally like in any way keep it going at the moment. I think I mentioned last time I was on, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say I have about 20 minutes of time a day that I get to decide how that time is spent. Weekends aside, weekends I get like 2 hours. So yeah, I'm just not in like any place that I can steer the ship, or I can like barely stay on the ship at this point. So that's kind of my point of view. We kind of grew into this big thing, which I'm like super proud of. The ride's been awesome. Really appreciate everyone's efforts who helped grow the Runaways to what we were. But I think everyone will kind of, I don't know, be better off. I think we're kind of treading water at the end here.
Yeah.
For the audio listeners, everybody nodded in unison.
Yeah.
I mean, leadership wise, we were like 100% treading water. But I think throughout the team as well, like, I mean, some of us were like super sick, like hitting our stride. But I think overall, if you look at the team across the board, like we were clearly treading water at the end here. And that mostly comes from like what I was saying about the leadership, lack of time and all that. But also just the personnel kind of changing, like Noah was saying. We all started aligned, and then we've kind of branched off in different ways.
Makes sense. Anyone have anything else to say on it?
No.
Okay. Well, I do want to reiterate a thank you to everyone who has supported us the whole time as the Runaways, whether that was through the Discord, through Metafy guides, through asking podcast questions, etc. We are not shutting down the draft Discord. That will still exist. The podcast will just keep that bot up and going. Obviously, that is one of the mainstays. That is what the Discord will be used for. It'll be used for drafting. It'll be used for the podcast. You're able to ask podcast questions for free now. There is no monetization on the podcast going forward, which is cool. The Metafy has been shut down, as you guys have listened to. We're kind of don't want to do that anymore as the main part. But we do enjoy talking every week on the podcast, whether we're arguing with each other, whether we're fighting with viewers. That doesn't happen as often, but it can happen. Or
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it is not a bad idea. Or we're getting mad at LSS, or sometimes we're even praising LSS once in a while. But we do want to make sure we're still doing this every single week, even when we're not practicing together. That's why I want Noah to be on. I'm going to miss hanging out with Noah all the time. He's going to be off gallivanting with his new team that he's with. And as someone who has traveled all over the world with Noah and hung out with Noah at most of the places that I've gone to, I know I will personally miss him. So I have to keep him in the podcast, so I at least have an excuse to see him every single week and needle him a little bit more as well. So,
Yeah, I echo that sentiment.
Yeah. But as far as everything else, we're still all playing the game. Like I'm going to play the game more is what I think is going to happen.
Well, certainly
So-
more. Like, I was spending more time running the team and company than playing the game the last
True.
few months easily.
Definitely last week.
But I still love all the guys. I hope them all the success for
Yeah, and
wherever they end up.
And I would also say, if you are a group looking for people to test with, you can
Yes.
look in the Runaways. It is still a group of a bunch of very good Flesh and Blood players. So,
Yeah,
reach
you
out,
can-
pick them up, test with them.
I would come try and some people have made posts that they're looking for teams. I would definitely not hesitate to scoop up members from the Runaways that are still playing the game. They will be a big benefit to any team that they go on, for sure. Cool. With that, we can get to some podcast questions. Yes, we still have them. Yes, if you're listening right now and you said, man, I've always wanted to ask a question on the podcast, but I did not want to give them $5. Guess what? You can ask a question on the podcast and you don't have to give us $5. It is just a free channel in the Discord. And the Discord is now free. So if you would like to, you can just click that button down there. You're going to have to do it anyway. Omens is coming out and you're going to have to practice. And we have the draft Discord. We'll keep that for everybody and ourselves for practicing, obviously. And you have to join. Now you can ask us questions. There's just a channel in there for
But
everybody.
only use the podcast questions channel for podcast questions. You don't have to answer the podcast questions. You can type
And-
those
and we-
answers in the general chat, please.
And we know the Runaways Discord. If there's one thing we do right, it's we have great moderation in all of our.
No,
channels.
no,
We
no,
never
no,
post
no, no,
anything
no,
without
no, no, no,
permission.
no, no.
We never get rated. We never have random non.
Honestly, now that it's all free, we probably should put out some applications for free mods if anyone's willing.
Yeah,
Give someone else the controls
4-letter
because we can't be bothered.
months on end.
Yeah, I will take some mod applications as well. However, the podcast questions might be free, but we are still sponsored by FAB Blazing because they have the data. And with Omens coming up, you are going to need all the data you can find. I know I will. I just lost 20 people that I used to practice with. So I will be on FAB Blazing, clicking up all the buttons, looking at draft, looking at decks. I'm going to look in there and be like, you know what? This looks like a Noah deck. I'm pretty sure he built this. I'm not on the team with him, but I can spy it out using FAB Blazing, and then I will steal all of the information that I possibly can. So if you would like to be able to steal all the information from Noah as well, join in the link below.
Can I talk about
Now,
FAB
now
really
I
quick?
can't.
Sure.
I want to when I for my skirmish, right? I only had I don't know, 4 total hours to prepare my new deck. So I went to FAB Blazing first, and I clicked on all the matchups, and I said, what equipment are people playing? What cards are doing well? I mean, the cards are kind of there's only so many good cards in Sage, but the equipment was very telling. It was very clear. It reinforced where the Bloody Double and the Kunai are good versus the Emberblade. I was like, ha. The data worked.
Perfect. And then you won your event.
I won my event. That easy.
So you're guaranteeing 100% event win rate.
If you play
100%
Fi
stealing
and
from
Useful
Noah.
Blazing, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
McDuddy asks, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, or Charmander? The important questions.
I choose Squirtle.
Dude,
I
like
also
them all.
choose Squirtle.
I also squirt.
Nice.
Nice.
You said you like them all, Dan?
Yeah.
So you play yellow? Because that's why I would play yellow,
don't
is to get all
know.
3.
I mean, if I'm playing the game, it's Squirtle, but I like Charmander.
I didn't think we'd be still aligned. That's crazy.
Squirtle's just broken, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
I
they're
mean, you
auction.
can
I don't know, I've
solo
never
the whole
played the
game as
games.
Blastoise. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
the team enters a Thumb War tournament, asked by Sal, the Gamer Pal. Who wins and why? There is no team. There is no winner. There is no tournament. There's your answer.
With that being said, it would be Pat.
It would be
what?
Pat, you're saying? You
Of
don't
course.
think dexterity
Oh
plays a role?
shit.
I don't know, man. He has some big hands. Just
Yeah, I think Lucas
But
got
it's
it.
only a thumb. It's only one finger is mattering.
That's
I could
he's
see
representing the thumb.
strength plus dexterity being relevant.
It's not me. I'm
You don't
pretty
think
mid.
I could?
Not the worst, but
I think I could.
It's
get
certainly
there.
not me either. Okay, no one on this
Easy.
podcast would win. We got
No.
that much.
Easy Dub says, would be keen to know why the team has disbanded. Well, we've already talked about that. So I think you got the reason there. King of Mice says, I generally feel very pressured to not play slow in tournaments and otherwise, and I feel like even when I take a long time to make a decision, it's almost still under 30 seconds, with the vast majority of my decisions taking 5 seconds. I've definitely lost games because of this haste. With that in mind, what is the appropriate amount of time to take on a regular decision and for a tank, leaving fatigue games aside because the pace of play is different?
Also, wait, can I say one thing before the resolution of this? There's a PS that says, sorry for the long question. I feel like this is exactly in line with your thinking of, I take more than 30 seconds and it's a problem because this is not that long of a question.
Yeah.
So I think we've unveiled the hidden secrets behind the King of Mice. Go ahead, Lucas. You had something to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in FAB, one thing that's nice is you get to think when you draw your hand up, and most opponents will still think on their own turn. This isn't always true, but in general, just being efficient with how you're thinking. Like, I basically wanna the way that I play is I'll draw up my 4 cards, and then I'm immediately thinking, what are the like 3 or 4 different ways that I might play this hand? And then depending on what my opponent does and how I play the matchup, I can actually make one of those choices. But just like using your thinking time at the start of the turn to give yourself like a few different pathways and then adjusting to those pathways depending on how your opponent plays the turn is going to be a lot more effective than rethinking every single time your opponent makes an action. If you play the game enough, you should have a good idea of what are the general possibilities of what your opponent could do. Like they're either going to throw vanilla damage or maybe arcane damage, or maybe there's disruption, maybe there's attack reactions. Like you should understand generally kind of the different ways that your opponent could play different situations.
Yeah, it's always been said you think on your opponent's turn and then you confirm on your turn. It's kind of like the rule of thumb there, but it's not really that complicated. I mean, you just, if you feel like you're playing too fast, slow down. You can probably afford to slow down. It's fine to slow down, and in higher pressure situations, you will see people definitely do slow down. Do be conscious that you don't go to time. Technically, every single action that you make has to be done in a reasonable amount of time. Whatever reasonable is completely changed and arbitrary to whatever the judge thinks. And there is no banking time technically in the game, even though we all do it, where we play easy turns very, very fast in order to be able to tank on the very complicated turns. Typically, if you just say, hey, this is the big turn, I'm going to think for a minute, most people don't are completely fine with it, assuming that you've played in a way in which that is possible. That's not technically in the rules. You can be asked to make a decision, even if you have 20 minutes left in the game and this is the last turn of the game. If you're taking too long, but most people are respectful enough that if you tell them that it's a big turn, I'm going to tank for a little bit, and you've been playing at a reasonable pace before then, they're completely fine with that.
Yeah, I would also add just quickly that this is something you can practice. I think we talked about this like a month or two ago on the podcast, where maybe I didn't. Maybe I talked about this in the shower by myself. I don't know. I'll let you guys in on that. Sometimes, I run through podcast questions in my head.
Dude, I do my best like deck building and strategizing in the shower. Like not close.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the incubators in Star Wars, like you go in and you come out healed. It's like you come
Yep.
out more knowledgeable.
Mm.
Oh, I have no time
But,
for showers these days. I'm due.
When you're
Dan's
when
just
you're
stinky
testing
over there.
Yeah, dude, if I get a shower in, like that's a good day. That's a lucky day.
anyway, uh, if you're testing and you like it should be something that you're testing for. You should be testing in environments where even if you're not necessarily timing yourself, you are you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to play at a reasonable pace. That's one thing that I will often find with people is they're taking long amounts of time on decisions where if they've played their deck for any amount of time in situations like this, you should be able to make these sorts of decisions quickly. And so I would say focusing your prep on being able to play your deck quickly is something that you definitely can do and should do, especially if you're noticing it's a problem in tournaments.
But it's the opposite. If you are playing too fast, just slow down. Just play slower.
Yeah. You can also practice that, actually. You can practice like taking your time thinking through all of the different permutations of lines.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
one
if
thing that I've
I
done before.
used my brain to think at the end of my game at PT, I would have
Mhm.
won an extra game.
Mhm.
Who knows where I would have
Yeah.
been.
Some people, I personally haven't used this technique, but some people have this technique if they put the cards face down in the locations they intend on putting them, just to help fix like mechanical errors too. Of like, uh, you're in the momentum of the game and you're trying to like play quickly and put your cards in places, but maybe you like misclick IRL and you put the card in the wrong spot. So that could be a problem of like, okay, you say you're going too fast. So maybe as a way of like intentionally hitting the brakes is just this technique of like, I put the cards upside down in the, or, face down in the place where they're going to go. Um, and then that helps me like, okay, I'm removing this card from my brain. It's the blue. It's always going in the pitch zone. Then I think about how I'm going to play the other three cards in my hand. Um, so maybe some technique like this of just a handbrake, forcing yourself to um, pause a bit, and then also just like being vocal with your opponent. I know if anyone's ever played against me, I've probably apologized during my game. It's like a defense mechanism of when I feel like I'm taking more than 30 seconds, I'm always like uh, making both me and my opponent aware that I feel like I'm taking a while. And I think if you do something like this, your opponent will usually let you know of, are you actually taking a long time, or is it just like time dilation in your head of, I feel like I've been taking 10 minutes, but in actuality it's only been 30 seconds because there's so many thoughts going through my head. So I think if you're like communicating with your opponent and fostering a rapport with them, then it helps this feeling of, oh, I feel pressured and that I have to make a decision fast. But there's no need to feel pressured if your opponent's not actually pressuring you, because you like look up from the table and see that they're like thinking about their own plays.
Isotera asks, how do you decide when to appeal a judge decision? I've had some really bad judge calls before, and I'm wondering when I should advocate for myself.
I think I have an answer that Cody will agree with 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you don't win the judge call, you click the button, appeal, and then maybe you achieve more success in the judge call.
I mean, I'd say every time you're not 100% confident in the rolling, you should. But then also, you might as well if you lose. Sure.
It's literally free to do. You pay $0.
Yeah.
The senior judge comes over, and potentially now you get the correct ruling or the ruling that's in your favor if it's subjective.
Also,
just-
one
I-
advantage that no, go ahead.
It's not important. I was gonna say I save myself the like very small amount of embarrassment when it's like an easy ruling, and I know for a fact that I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's also the advantage that I haven't heard people talk about before, but I don't know how many of us have heard this story from like a friend or somebody else who plays the game of, I had this ruling in round 2, the floor judge ruled this way. 3 rounds later, I had the same ruling. I made a play and I like assured my opponent, oh no, this is how it works. And then we called the judge over, and after a long judge ruling in an appeal, I found out that I was wrong. So always appealing the judge the judge rulings is actually additionally beneficial because sometimes judges will give, or floor judges rather, will give different answers than each other. I also like, I don't know how many of you guys have had experiences where the floor judge didn't know the policy, or the floor judge got it wrong, and then you appealed and that changed the outcome. But for me, that's happened a lot. So I'm completely agreeing. Like, I just would always appeal because unless I 100% know the ruling, then there's really no, like, the only situation where I would not appeal is like if my opponent looks at their hand and they're like, you know, like they do a thing and they're like, oh, I don't know how this works, I'm gonna call a judge. And then the judge just comes over and I'm like, yeah, of course this is how it works. That's the only situation where like a ruling would go against me and I wouldn't appeal. Like in every other situation,
But even though that's not really a ruling, that's just like asking them to explain the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just always appeal.
You should
Also-
always advocate for yourself because no one else will advocate for you. And if you ever feel, it took me too long to learn this. If you ever feel like the ruling that is given is correct, but gives your opponent an advantage for making a mistake, you should also appeal that rule specifically with the wording, I feel like they made a mistake and they're being given an advantage. And that is very important to do. There have been several times where I think my opponent has made a mistake and the ruling accidentally just gave them an advantage. So, but it took me too long to realize that was something I should advocate for myself.
Yeah, basically the thing you should get into your head, maybe not every judge is like this, but all the judges that I've spoken to about this say that they don't like get offended if you appeal the ruling. It's not like they're going to get fired from their job and never judge again.
If they do, then they're just bad at their job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In addition to that too, is if like the reason there is a ruling is your fault, like you did something sloppy or something, don't feel like you need to punish yourself by having a negative ruling. I'm definitely guilty of that. You should still appeal even if the mess is your fault.
Yeah. To be fair, at Worlds against Heaven, I completely misplayed my Warmongers. I played a Warmongers. It came back to my turn. My brain forgot that I had played a Warmongers.
You did not.
So I started my turn activating Zen's Gloves, which you cannot do under Warmongers, and then played a long turn. And in the middle of the turn, I play a non-attack action, and then I play another non-attack action. And then we both go, wait a minute. I'm under Warmongers. I can't do these non-attack actions. And so we call a judge, and the judge comes over, and the judge is like, okay, what happened? I explained, and they go, you can't activate gloves either. And I go, I have messed the whole turn up. And in my head, I'm like, I'm probably just going to get a game loss. Like the whole turn's like messed up. I really hope I don't, but I might get a game loss. The judge comes over, we talk about it. They realize it was a mistake, and they rewind the whole thing. Do I personally think they should have rewind the whole thing? No, I think they should have probably just given me a game loss because like I put the game into like a weird state now where I pseudo know some of the cards that are on top of my deck and pseudo don't. And now I get to play the turnout again correctly. But like, it's not my fault that was the ruling. It's not like that's what I fought for. It's not like I told them, hey, I think you should not punish me here. I said, this is what happened. And they said, this is the fix. And I said, okay. Personally, I think that fix is too light, but that is, where the game is at. I give that as an example to say that, like, even if you make a mistake, if the judge says this is how it is ruled, you should let that is how it's ruled. You can bring it up after the game to be like, hey, maybe this policy should be changed. And like, I personally think that policy should be changed. I should have been given a game loss at Worlds. I was expecting a game loss at Worlds when they said, no, this is not a game loss. We're going to rewind and we can do that. I said, okay, if that's what you think. But like, I think it was a little unfair to Evan, and I told him that at the time, as well as afterwards.
Evan appealed or no?
Evan tried. I don't actually remember how the appeal worked. I don't think he appealed.
See, there you go. It was ISO Terra and appeal.
Those kinds of situations often are ones where the floor judge will just immediately go get a head judge.
Yeah, it was multiple judges, so I don't know if there was like a world where an appeal could happen.
Yeah, normally,
because it was.
Yeah, normally what'll happen on those more complex ones is the floor judge will just go get the head judge, and then the head judge will give a final ruling.
Yeah, because obviously there was an investigation to see if I'd done it on purpose, etc. As there should be. It was determined that no, this was not done on purpose, and we both caught it at the same time and called the judge, thinking, and then realized, oh no, I messed the whole thing up. But say it as an example to always advocate for yourself.
Yeah, and also just last thing. I know some people are afraid of being like mean or rude, but like you can be respectful and also be stubborn. Like you're allowed to be like, that doesn't really make sense, or like, can you explain more to me why this is your ruling, or like, I think this should be this way because this and this and this. Like we've been saying, nobody else is going to say those things for you. Maybe you see your opponent do something that's like potentially suspicious, and it's like you should just say something. Sometimes your opponent might get offended. Sometimes the judges might.
You can always just talk away from the table if you think it's
you can
going to
also
be a
do
problem.
that. Yeah. Well, I mean not even situations where it's like my opponent cheated. Sometimes it's just like, my opponent says they do it this way. I don't think this happened. I was watching. I thought you did it some other way. Just like tell the truth and be willing to say things that might ruffle other people's feathers, because that's how you get in bad situations.
Don't do this. They're mid ruling. Appeal. Like,
Yeah.
The amount of times I see a judge is like, okay, so I'm going to rule this way. I would like to appeal. And it's like, okay, just let them finish. Say, I appreciate it, but I would like to appeal. Like, they're a person, have the conversation. It's not just like shoot the hand in the air, but it's always a little cringe.
You also shouldn't like try and have a conversation about it with the floor judge.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not worth it. Like if the floor judge makes the ruling and like you want to appeal, don't like try and be like, hey, no, I think I don't discuss it with the floor judge. It's not worth it. You're just gonna just appeal.
One thing I always do as well, whenever I call a judge, I always make sure that the judge and I communicate what time they came over. So that way I don't feel like I have to speed run, like, because I think a lot of times people, when they appeal, they're like, oh no, this is going to take a long time. I got to do this fast. But you're going to get the proper time extension as long as you and the judge that comes over make a note of what time they came over at. If it takes 15 minutes for the floor judge to deliver their ruling, then you call over the head judge after, and then they deliver their ruling, and you finally get it sorted. You're going to get the proper time extension. So I think, like, yeah, if you're ever concerned about this as an outcome of like, oh, I don't want to appeal because I don't want to waste time. Like, it doesn't waste time. You get the time extension back.
Yep. Celtic Mac asks, are you aware of Golden Age? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? I am aware.
Know what this is?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm vaguely aware.
I'm aware what it is.
You don't know what it is, Lucas?
Can you explain for people who might not know what it is?
It's basically the concept of a fixed LL format. So it's LL, but there's no Starvo, no chain. And there's another ban list. You can look it up. They have like their own website. Another ban list of around like 12 to 15 cards. With the idea of just keeping the spirit of LL, where you can do very powerful things, but with a custom curated ban list as opposed to the one that LSS made for Worlds.
Also, nothing LLs. But there's no Starvo, there's no chain. It's supposed to be affixed to an internal format for Flesh Blood. It is.
That sounds like whoever made
it is playable.
It sounds like whoever made this is a coward.
It is playable on Talishar, but we are not the best people to ask for this, because unless there's a tournament or a reason to play it, none of us are ever going to play it.
I mean, I do generally
if somebody
like...
gives me a deck, I'll play.
Yeah, I generally like alternative formats, but I like playing chain more. So this sounds awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there was ever some event for it, then I would definitely try to prepare a deck, but I'm not going to like do too much investigating into it. I do think it's cool when people try to explore the games in other ways. Like when I did the Shapeshifter Cube as like an event one time, that was fun to just like expand your mind and think in different ways. But it's hard to really get invested in something that's not competitive.
Yep.
Awardo77 asks, LSS made a conscious decision to print a bunch of yellow 4 blocks for Guardian that have upside for the different heroes. This, along with banning the OG D-Reacts in Sage, has created a unique meta, for better or for worse. Can you see CC going in the same direction someday, where the generic D-Reacts are banned, or is it irrelevant for a 40 health format?
I think they're all ban worthy. From like past experience and decisions, I don't think they'll be banned.
I wouldn't be surprised if we lose Sync Below.
Yeah. Maybe there could be like too many in the card pool at some point.
I
make room
think,
for others.
yeah, in general, the cards that are 0 for 4 at generic should have some meaningful downside. Like that new card that they talked to, or that they swelled already for Omens. It's like 0 for 4 majestic attack that has an ability like you can't play instants, similar to Exude Confidence, and then also can like pay 1 to get +1 and be unpreventable. I think those kind of 0 for 4s are interesting, but cards like Sink Below, Fate Foreseen, Shelter, Ravenous Rabble, even like Scar for Scar, Snatch. I think these types of cards where it's like 0 for 4 strict upside in terms of the go again replacing itself,
Yeah.
are just like, there can be a time when those can get phased out of the game.
Yeah, 0 for 4 has an effect. No, not go again is completely different than 0 for 4 has go again. 0
Mhm.
and all the D-Reacts have go again. So
Yeah.
I guess we've done it.
Yeah, I guess.
Agreed.
I mean, it's one of those things where they're probably not going to ban them, but like, it shouldn't. It's weird that it exists on so few cards in the game, where like those cards are just going to be better than your class specific options a lot of times. So you just slot them in.
What was the actual question?
The question
You
is like,
think-
are they ever going to ban D-Reacts?
Oh, that
Yeah.
was it. Okay.
Yeah. Don't say it that way.
You said we should fight our listeners, right, or something?
Apparently, we're fighting listeners.
Oh yeah, I
today.
guess we're allowed to fight now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we have no brand, so we can do whatever
I
we
never
want.
had an anti-fighting rule, dude. It was,
Sure.
dude, there were sluggers in Team General the whole time, man. It was never illegal.
Quelvet says, thanks for dedicating an entire episode to my question last week. If you guys could design a new keyword in the game, what would it do, and would it be class specific?
Hmm.
A
That's
new
an excellent
keyword,
question.
huh?
I would put the effect that's on that new assassin spoiler that kills an ally on hit. I would make that a keyword. And put it on
Oh
everything.
yeah. Let's do that. Let's put more of that in the game. I agree.
Yeah.
If I
Like
touch you, you
poisonous or
explode.
something.
Poisonous. Wait, that can actually be interesting, Dan. Like poisonous, where it's bad rate, but
No, it should be above rate. I think.
no. Let me
If
finish.
it's
It's
above
bad
rate,
rate,
assassin specific.
but if it attacks an ally, it poison just kills it, and then also
Oh, I see.
it's poisonous where it kills the first card defending it.
This sounds a lot like Death Touch.
Oh,
I think
that's pretty
Like,
cool.
I think there would be. I think it would be
No,
cool
it's
if there
it's
was
the
a keyword.
the puffin card.
Yeah, Palantir.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, just a blue stealth attack for 1 that says what Noah just said. That's probably balanced.
It's poison, so it fits the theme of the blood rot, the inertia, the
Yeah, then you
frailty.
mantle it into a real attack and they die. It's like double T-Tops.
Yeah.
Lucas, you had something?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if there was a keyword that's like New Acilio's hero ability, but on cards, where like if this card is sent to, maybe the keyword is like, if this card enters a zone other than from the combat chain, return this card to where it entered from. So like they're all like disruption proof cards, and then also maybe it's like a necromancer keyword where you like have synergies where you can discard cards and trigger them. Maybe it also isn't like return to the zone. Maybe it's just like if this card enters a zone from anywhere, like you do a trigger, but something like that where cards are able to. I think it'd be interesting to have heroes where like your cards are maybe slightly worse, but you're basically like significantly less prone to disruption.
I was thinking there could be a cool keyword too on a non-attack that, like, how prismatic leyline buffs +3/2/1 based on the colors. There could be some sort of non-attack that buffed your next attack by +3/2/1 in reverse based on your pitch zone. So like, for example, if you've pitched a red, your next attack gets +3. If you pitched
That
a
sounds
yellow,
like
it gets
a card that they
+2.
would make.
Yeah, if you pitched a blue, it gets +1. It's like you could play this card and then pitch red, blue, yellow and get +6, but then
Oh. Are you trying to make
pitched a red
Guardian
and
playable
yellow.
or something?
Well, no, it would be
It would be a
yellow-
cool card in Guardian, but like
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
would just
It's a
be.
real downside.
It's like the exact kind of card that they love making, though, right? Like the
Yeah.
dual threat prismatic leyline, like these like conditional 0 for 6 attacks, like or non-attacks. Like yeah, it would be yellow block 3 non-attack. Be lit.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I guess it's not really a keyword, but
Yeah, Dihimano asks, I do not like mirror matches in FAB. I found that most mirror matches, the game will often revolve around who drew the card first. And in macro game plan, it does not matter so much, with one exception of being like wizard mirrors. Do you think it is fixable problem, or am I just bad at the game? Mirrors have gotten worse over time, to be fair. Aggro mirrors have always kind of been kind of meh. But when the game has evolved to hand over hand value and the big turn mattering less and the macro strat managing less, then of course the mirrors will sometimes be just who went second or who drew the card.
I think I
So
might
you're
have
not completely wrong, but there's been
I've
plenty
had-
of mirrors in the past that were very skillful, but they don't exist as much anymore.
I don't know. I feel like this is like my hottest take in a while. I think I've come full circle. I've always been like, yeah, mirrors aren't great, but I like this one. But I keep saying that for like every mirror match with every deck I play. So I think Flesh and Blood mirrors are just great. I love them. Like I think that a lot of the time it is just about I don't really think it's almost ever about who just draws the cards first.
The
With the
Syndrome mirror?
exception,
You think the
I was
Syndrome
about
mirror is
to,
like
no, well that's I was about to say with the exception of combo decks that like actually just revolve around like 1 or 2 cards. Um, I think most mirrors exist in this interesting space where because you both have sort of like similar victory conditions, you are both able to slightly adjust the game one way or another. Like neither one of you is just going to blow the other out if a game goes a certain way. So you're both kind of able to you're able to game plan almost more for mirrors than I feel like for a lot of other matchups. Just because like you're inherently very close. Like it's, base 50-50 if you were playing the same list and, same sideboard and stuff, right? So any adjustments that you make in sideboarding or in deck list or in game planning have like a not necessarily a larger effect, but it feels larger because you're starting from 50-50. And like player skill is another thing that factors into that, where like, you don't have to worry about bad matchup because it's 50-50. So, if your deck's better, if your sideboard's better, if you're better, if you play better, you're gonna win more than you would against like, maybe an average deck. Which isn't always true, right? If you think you're playing a powerful deck, but I find that basically every time I go deep into a mirror in Flesh and Blood, there's a bunch of nuance. But it also could just be the decks I've played, where I normally play like mid-range to aggressive decks, right? Like I play Verdance, I played Mario, I played Aurora.
I mean, to be fair, you typically pick a lot of decks where you don't mind the mirror. That has been a thing that has mattered
I've never,
to you.
Well, but I've never picked a deck because I don't like the mirror.
That's what I mean. If you don't like the mirror, you don't often play the deck.
Well, but I'm saying like I've
How do we
never
feel
gone
about
off the deck
Icelander?
because I don't like the mirror.
The mirror is great. I love the mirror.
Okay. The pot race. You like the pot race?
It wasn't really the pot race. You could pot race,
A little bit.
but
Yeah, there
there
were
were-
angles. You could also just attack for 8, attack for 8, attack for 8.
yeah,
But that's a good
I
example.
think
of
I'm
what
pro
talking
mirror
about,
as
though.
well.
I'm
That's
pro some
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
mirrors.
I
Yeah.
think Icelander's a good example where like because you both like neither one of you.
That's not a deck that exists anymore.
No.
I got a good example.
But it was
I
a
think-
great mirror. You're right.
I gotta finish. No. But I'm saying like because Icelander's a deck where like normally you can't play the Hex game plan because you're gated one way, or you can't play the Wounded Bull game plan because you're gated the other way. Because it's a mirror, you can kind of always do a little bit of both. So like, I think every other mirror has similar aspects where you're able to move one direction or another direction a lot easier, whereas in non-mirror matchups, you are kind of pushed into just like doing whatever the best thing is because it's always the best thing.
I think Mario is a good example of I forget how it's phrased, like edges or skill difference that you can make in preparation. Like if you're not aware of it, there's a fatigue state that exists. I'd say maybe 10 to 20% of Mario mirrors. Where if you're not playing with that in mind or built with that in mind, you're just losing those games. Where if you're on the other side, like it's a way you can just win when those it plays out that way. And also like when you're behind, knowing that like you can pivot to that strategy is like a way to steal games too.
I think Austin has talked about that in the Gravy Bones mirror as well.
That makes sense.
That's a good mirror.
Where you-
I like that mirror.
Dude, mirrors are great. I think
Yeah,
there should be a
even the
format where you
aggro
only
mirrors.
play mirror.
Even the aggro mirrors I always enjoy because like
We can call it
you're
mirror
both,
age.
yeah, you're both just working with the same stuff. So like you have to figure out how to get the edge. Like
I don't know.
it's
Like
never
the
given
fine
to you.
mirror is not super entertaining.
so
there are things
I
you
have-
can do. But
I would rather
I
play
have,
against Phi with Phi than like another deck. I
Dude,
feel like
go
I would
back
be
and
able to
watch
get
my Worlds game against
it was good.
well, I'm tired.
Rob Catton.
Thank you. Against Rob. I was doomed. I was like behind, but I was like, you're gonna miss on this hit trigger, and your top card's not gonna be an attack. And then it was Artivore, and I won the game. A lesser player
Yeah.
would have blocked and just lost anyway.
I would say like the common thread tying the decks with good mirrors together is that they either have some specific card or defensive cards that allow the matchup to be interesting. It's like when you talk about Marionette, I would say a lot of it comes down to seeing defensive cards and the right times to allow you to get back into the game. You could look at why maybe something like Aurora or the aggro Draconic Ninjas is not that good of a mirror match because
I think
those don't have as many defensive tools. One second. The adaptation that made the Aurora mirror interesting was like people started playing more non-attacks and playing Face Purgatory to have like a defensive way to get back in the mirror match. You have like Sigil of Suffering. So that one had like a few. Go ahead.
The Aurora mirror also had the interesting wrinkle of so many, like there was actually like 2 to 3 different equipment choices for every single zone. Like I saw I think 3 different every single zone except for maybe only 2 boots in my like 4 or 5 Aurora mirrors at London. Which is not the case for every mirror, right? Like sometimes it's just like you play the stuff and you race.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say like mirrors are only really bad if you look at like, for example, like KO or Levia, like Brute. I've never played
Brute's
the
the
Rhino mirror, but I
worst.
assume it's bad. But Brute mirror is just like so bad because you can't really run defensive cards to flip the matchup. You kind of just have to hope that your aggressive turns happen first. And with Scowling Fleshbag, there's just some draw sequences where you have to make it a 50-50. You can't really like deterministically get value out of the card. So
Yeah, I would say
Go ahead.
I would say that like I think it makes sense then that I feel like Flesh and Blood doesn't have too many bad mirrors because what it seems like to me then is the only mirrors that are bad are just like the incredibly linear proactive decks, which is just a very narrow field of Flesh and Blood. Like it's like you think of like Acilio, Dashio, like Brutes. There's not too many other decks that just like and
like
even
Azalea
some
mirrors, like pretty bad.
yeah. Even the Azalea, yeah.
No, the
The
Azalea
Azalea
mirror
mirror was
sucks.
good,
Yeah.
I like that you could get an edge in it, but sometimes the edge was the red in the ledge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Where because we're at a point where there's almost no like strictly linear aggro decks, other than like maybe a few here and there. Feels like basically every other mirror has the potential to be good.
I mean, I don't disagree that a lot of the decks that I play, I enjoy the mirror. I mean, we even like the Hatchet mirror was fun.
Well, that was just
as
heaven,
well.
dude. That was
Yeah.
just like it's never
And
been
so-
better than that.
I like the Lexi mirror was great. Like a lot of the decks we
don't
play,
even say its name.
have
dude.
great
I think
mirrors.
Zen
Don't
was
even
like
say
the best
its name.
aggro mirror.
Oldham mirror. I mean, Zen was well.
Because Zen
It
State.
depends on what point.
Man.
It depends on yeah. When you're playing
Yeah.
Zen State Wars, it was.
Oh no,
quite
full power.
Yeah,
I don't know
Zen is
about that
interesting
one.
because it's like how I talked about Scowling Fleshbag is not that interesting in Brute because it's variance. Like the Zen State, you're in full control. I mean, sometimes you just don't transcend; it's unlucky. But as long as you're able to transcend, you're in control of when you put the Zen State mode on.
I agree. If you're not playing whatever the best aggro deck is of the time, typically, or the linear deck of the time, you usually have a functional mirror. Too good.
Well, but even I would say though, even a lot of the most aggressive, like those top aggro decks, because there were defensive cards that were powerful against them, they still end up being okay.
I don't know. I did not find
you-
the Syndrome Mirror very
Well,
enjoyable
I was gonna
to
say,
play
I
at
think the
all.
Syndrome Mirror, I think is
That's because Syndra's not enjoyable to play.
yeah, I think Syndrome Mirror is more a product of Syndra herself. But I think like there were edges to be gained in that mirror, and there was
There's
some
edges in
element-
every mirror to be gained, no matter how
Well, but I
much
think-
variance it is.
I mean,
but
like, I think
it
in
depends on
playing the
how
game as
often
well.
you can realize your edge. That's what actually matters in a mirror. Not at these edges. It's how often can you realize your edge.
It's not always true. I think that's the case with like everything.
We should make a
so.
tier list about edges.
The edge tier list.
Yeah, the mirror,
That'll
mirror
get some
edge, though.
views.
Gotta be careful how you word that one. Okay. Well, I think that's it for us. I got to get this guy to bed named Dan. He is way past his bedtime at this point. Now, please, in the comment section below, drop what you think the name of the podcast should be. We will hopefully find one in the next couple of weeks. With that, we're out.